Hi everybody, my name is Rupa, working as assistant professor in Chambers Engineering College. Our subject is electrical machines 2, and today's topic is speed control of induction motor in unit 2, 11th lecture. So now we are dealing about the speed control techniques in the induction motors. So one of the speed control techniques from the rotor side. Until now we have discussed about the speed control techniques in the stator side. So mainly there are 3 types in rotor and 3 types in stator. Already we have discussed the 3 types in stator. Now we are going to discuss about the rotor side. So from control from rotor side, we have mainly 3. In that, first one is rotor rheostat control. So I am showing you the diagram from which side the rotor, from which side the control is done. So in this method, if you see the figure in this method, which is applicable to slip ring motors only. So squirrel cage is not applied for squirrel cage type of rotors are not used here. Only slip ring motors are alone used here, and the motor speed is reduced by introducing a external resistance in the rotor circuit. Okay, so this is the rotor circuit and this is the external. Sorry, this is the starting rheostat and speed controller. This is the external resistance which I have connected to control the rotor resistance. So for this purpose, we are using a rotor starter and it is continuously rated. This is continuously rated. So if you discuss before going to discuss this one, I have to say that this rheostat, rotor rheostat control is similar to armature rheostat control method of DC shunt motors. Before we have discussed about those one. So see here. Here we say that torque is directly proportional to S by R2. Okay, so synchronous speed, for the synchronous speed, the torque will be directly proportional to X by R2. So given slip, for a given torque, the slip can be increased, that is speed can be decreased. How? By increasing the rotor resistance R2. So if you increase the rotor resistance R2, we can decrease the speed and slip can be increased for only one given value of torque. So what happens? Torque, for a given value of torque, slip is increased and the speed can be decreased. How? By increasing the rotor resistance R2. But it is having a serious disadvantage. So it is considered one of the main disadvantage of this method. That's why it is used rarely. So what is the disadvantage? You will see now. The one of the serious disadvantage of this method is with increase in rotor resistance. So as I am increasing the rotor resistance to decrease the speed, what happens if R2 is increased? I square R losses will also increase, right? So in I square R2, I2 square R2, if R2 is increased, total I2 square R2 will be increased. That means I2 square R2 is losses. So losses will be increased. So what happens? This affects the efficiency of the motor. That means efficiency of the motor will be decreasing. Okay, so by this method, we can say that loss is directly proportional to the reduction in the speed, right? And one of this is considered as one of the major disadvantage. Coming to the second disadvantage, the double dependence of speed not only on R2 but on load as well as it is there. Okay, so R2, change of R2 will affect the load also. So because of this wastefulness of this method, it is used where speed changes are need for only short periods. Okay, so this is rheostat, rotor rheostat control. And the last one is cascade or concatenation or tandem operation. So see here, concatenation or cascade or tandem operation. So in this method, actually we will use two motors A and B. A will be having one frequency and B will be having other frequency. Okay, so A frequency is denoted as F and B is denoted as F dash. So I will explain you the diagram, see once. So here two motors are used and these are mounted on the same shaft. These two motors are mounted on the same shaft. So that what is the main aim to put them on the same shaft? Because when we kept them on the same shaft, both A and B will run at the same speed. Or if at all it is not possible to put on the same shaft, we have to gate them together. By gearings, we have to gate them together such that we have to see always that both the speeds of the motors are equal. Okay, and the stator winding of the main motor A, see here, the stator winding of the main motor A is connected to the mains. These are the three-phase supply mains. So the stator winding, the stator connection is done to the three-phase supply in A. And violet of auxiliary motor, this is called as auxiliary motor. Okay, so this is fed from the rotor circuit of motor A. Okay, so in motor A, stator supply is connected to three-phase supply and rotor supply is connected to B. Okay, so for satisfactory operations, for some satisfactory operations, we have to take an assumption that motor A should be phase wound rotor, that is slip ring type with stator to rotor winding, and the ratio of stator to rotor winding is 1:1. So that in addition to concatenation, each motor will be run from the supply mains separately. So for this combination, we are using at least 3 types or sometimes 4 types. So first combination is the main motor A will be run separately from the supply. So in that case, the synchronous speed is called as NSA, that is equal to 120 F by PA, where here PA is the number of stator poles of motor A. And the second combination used is the auxiliary motor B is run separately from the mains. That is, motor A is disconnected from the supply mains. So that's in that case only it is possible to run the motor B separately from the mains. So in that case, synchronous speed NSB is equal to 120 F by PB. NSB is equal to 120 F by PB, where here PB is the number of stator poles of motor B. Next, one of the third combination is it is connected in cumulative cascade. That is, the phase rotation of stator fields of both the motors should be in the same direction. This is called as cumulative cascade. What is that? The phase rotation of the stator fields of both motors is in the same direction. Okay, so the synchronous speed of the cascade set in this is NSC. The synchronous speed is called as NSE. C. NSC is equal to 120 into F by PA plus PB. F by PA plus PB. Okay, so for this we have to see one proof. See here, what is the proof? Such that the speed, the synchronous speed of the concatenation set is 120 F by PA plus PB. For this formula, now we will prove this formula. How we get this set synchronous speed? NSC set synchronous speed 120 F by PA plus PB. So see the proof. Let N is the actual speed of concatenated set. Okay. And NSA is the synchronous speed of motor A. And it is B independent of N. This is the set speed. N is the set speed. Total set, actual speed of the concatenation set. And NSA is the synchronous speed of motor A. So this NSA is not dependent on N. It is not dependent on N. Okay, so clearly we can say that the relative speed of rotor A with respect to the stator field winding is, what is the relative speed? That means the difference of speed NSA minus N. Okay, this is called as relative speed. So the frequency F dash is inducing EMF in the rotor. Okay, so that F dash is, how can we write the F dash? Slip into F. Okay, so in before equations, what is the frequency in running conditions? S into frequency in standstill conditions, like that. What is the S formula? The relative motion by NSA gives, this is the slip formula, S. This is the slip, difference of synchronous speed and normal speed divided by synchronous speed is called as slip, right? So at what, how will you form the running conditions frequency? Anything at running conditions, anything at running conditions is equal to slip times at standstill conditions. Okay, suppose if I consider FR, what will be the value of FR? S into F at standstill condition, that is called as nothing but Fs or simply F. S into F is the formula of running condition frequency. Same like that, F dash is the frequency induced in rotor A. So that F dash is equal to S into F, normal F. Okay, so as these two motors run on the same shaft, the frequency of the EMF applied to the stator of motor B is also will be F dash. So hence the synchronous speed of motor B with input frequency is, how can we write the speed? Actually N is equal to 120 F by P, right? P means here PB, because in rotor, in motor B, we are having PB number of poles. Okay, so not simply P we have to write PB, that means poles of motor B. And F dash is the frequency of the motor, as I told. F dash, frequency of motor A and frequency of motor B are same. So F dash by PB. So that becomes, here I am transferring. So here see, I am putting this F dash, this whole formula here in the place numerator. Okay, so NSA 120 into NSA minus N by NSA into PB. Denominator there is PB. So the formula is like that. Make it as first equation. Put it aside. Okay, next. So this rotor speed and rotor frequency F dash, this induces an EMF in B, rotor B. After inducing of EMF, the frequency will be changed, that is F double dash. So now F double dash is before speed N minus actual speed divided by before speed N dash, this one, into F, same S into F, like that, S into F. Okay, so now the no load speed of rotor B is almost equal to synchronous speed. So approximate frequency is equal to 0. So from that equation, I can say that F double dash is equal to 0. Or we can write, what is F double dash? N dash minus N by N dash into F is equal to 0. From this, N dash is equal to N. So from this is second equation. Make it as second equation. See the first equation from before slide. What is the first equation? N dash is equal to 120 into this one, F dash by P. This is the first equation. Okay. So second equation, from first equation, how can I write N dash is equal to this one? Okay. So I am putting N dash is equal to N. So what will it become finally? N dash is equal to 120 into F by PB into 1 minus N by SA. This is from first equation. And we have to write the condition from second equation. If I substitute, what happens? N dash is equal to N is equal to, I am putting N. So what happens? 120. So see here, 120 F by PB into 1 minus N by NSA is N dash. Nothing but we are taking N dash is equal to N. So I can put simply, and in the place of N dash, I can put N. Okay. So N is equal to 120 F by PB into 1 minus N by NSA. From this, see here, 120 F by PB is equal to N into, I am multiplying this, N into, what happens? N into 1 plus 1 by NSA into 120 F by PB. So putting NSA is equal to 120 F by PA. So in the place of NSA, I am writing 120 F by PA. So I will get 120 F by PB is equal to N into 1 plus, in place of NSA means reverse, PA by 120 F into 120 F by PB. So these two gets cancelled. So N is left over with N into 1 plus PA by PB. That implies N is equal to 120 into F by PA plus PB. So the concatenation speed, set speed is N is equal to 120 F by PA plus PB. So how we got this is the proof. Okay, next. Now we are using both motors A and B. Now we will see how the set, this set A and B motor set will be started. So first one, when the cascade set is started, the voltage at frequency F, it is applied to the stator winding of machine A. V is applied to the at voltage V, frequency F is applied to the stator winding of machine A. Okay, we are giving some voltage. So if you give some voltage, induced EMF of same frequency is produced in rotor A. Okay, in stator there is some frequency with some same frequency, and induced EMF will be produced in rotor A. So both stator and rotor windings have same frequency of F. Okay, so this produced EMF in the rotor with same frequency produced in rotor A, this EMF is supplied to auxiliary motor B, right? So from the rotor, the induced EMF is developed. The induced EMF is developed in the A is supplied to B because they two are connected. Rotor and stator, rotor of A and stator of B are connected. So because of this connection, what happens? Both the motors will be developing a forward torque only. So now the process goes on as the shaft speed increases. Shaft means the connection between the A and B. So as the shaft speed increases, the rotor frequency of motor A decreases. Okay, the rotor frequency of A will be decreasing. So it is thus that the same synchronous, it is done at the same synchronous speed for B also. So the total set A and B set will be settling down. to a stable speed. When the shaft speed becomes equal to the speed of rotating field of motor B. Okay, so the shaft speed will be settled to the RMF speed of motor B. So when we consider the load conditions, when we load, what happens? The electrical power is given out. The electrical power is taken. So the taken electrical power in stator A, it is partly used for meeting IR square and core losses, and rest is given to the rotor. Okay, so when we consider the load conditions, what happens? We are taking the electrical power from the three-phase supply for motor A. So what happens? The electrical power taken by the stator A from the three-phase supply, it is used for meeting the I square R losses and core losses, and remaining rest is given to the rotor. Okay, again the power which is given to the rotor is further divided into two parts. First one, which is proportional to N, it is converted into mechanical power. The first portion of N, it is converted into mechanical power, and the other part is proportional to NSA minus N. Okay, so this is developed as the electrical power at the slip frequency. The second one, which is proportional to NSA minus N, it is the electrical power. It is developed as electrical power at the slip frequency. And next, this one is passed to the auxiliary motor B. So when it is passed to the auxiliary motor B, what is the use? It uses, the motor B uses this one for producing mechanical losses. For producing mechanical power and losses. So finally, we can say that the mechanical outputs of the two motors are in ratios N:NSA minus N. So the mechanical outputs of motor A and B are in the ratio N:NSA minus N. Okay, so actually, strictly speaking, we can say that mechanical outputs are in the ratio of the number of poles of the motors. So what are the proofs we have to know are? First one is S is equal to F double dash by F, where here S is the slip of the set, both set A and B motor set, which is referred to the synchronous speed NSC. Okay, actually what is the slip here? Formula NSC minus N by NSC. And second condition is S is equal to SA into SB. What are SA and SB? These are slips of two motors. SA means slip of motor A. SB means slip of motor B. Okay, so these slips are referred to their respective stators. Respective stators, I am saying the slip SA and SB. So from this I can write SA is equal to NA minus N by NSA, and SB is equal to N dash minus N by N. Okay. So this is how the cascade connection or tandem operation is done, or concatenation is done. And last one, the speed control of induction motor is done by injecting an EMF in the rotor circuit. We have to add extra an voltage in the rotor circuit. So see here, in this method, the speed of the induction motor, it is controlled by injecting a voltage in the rotor circuit. Okay, I am injecting a voltage in the rotor circuit only. In the rotor circuit. because if you inject somewhere, we will not get the same frequency. Okay, so because I have to get with same frequency, and the slip frequency also should be same. That's why I am injecting the voltage in the rotor circuit. Okay, so when we insert a voltage, it will be of two types, with phase and without phase. That means within the phase, if I inject voltage, what will happen you will see, and in phase opposition, when I inject the voltage, what will happen we will see. Suppose if I inject a voltage which is in phase opposition to the rotor EMF, it amounts to increasing the rotor resistance. Okay, so if I induce a voltage in phase opposition, there will be aiding of resistances. And if the phase, if I inject the voltage within phase, that means same phase, the equivalent resistance will be decreased. Okay, so by this, you know that by changing the phase of injected EMF, we can change the rotor resistance. So if you change the rotor resistance, automatically I can change the speed, and automatically the speed can be controlled with our desired units. So what is the main aim? We have to inject an EMF. So if you want to inject the EMF in particular phase opposition or phase, that affects the resistance. So affecting the resistance means nothing but speed is controlled automatically. So by our application, what application you want, you can inject the EMF within phase or out of phase. So the figure what I am showing is called as Cramer system. This is the practical method of speed control. Okay, so in this case, this Cramer system is used for large induction machines of 4,000 kilowatts or above. 4,000 kilowatts or above induction machines are going for this Cramer system. So this consists of a rotatory converter C. This is a rotatory converter C, which converts the low slip frequency AC power into DC power. Okay, so this conversion of frequency AC power into DC power is used to drive a DC shunt motor D. After conversion, it drives the DC shunt motor D. Okay, so this DC shunt motor is mechanically coupled to main motor M. And the main motor is coupled to the shaft of the DC motor. And the slip rings of M, these are the slip rings of M. These are connected to those of the rotatory converter of C. These slip rings are connected to the rotatory converter C. So the DC output of C, the output of C is used to drive D. Okay, both C and D are excited from the DC bus bars or from an exciter. Both C and D are excited from the bus bars or from an exciter we have to use. So there is a field regulator. See here, there is a field regulator. This will be governing the back EMF EB of D. So what happens of governing the DC potential at the commutator? The DC potential at the commutator of C controls the slip ring voltage and controls the speed of the induction motor. Okay, so one of the big advantage is any speed within the working range can be obtained. Okay, so in other ones, this is not possible. Okay, because any speed perfectly can be obtained. Instead of 2 or 3, only one speed can be within range, it can be expected. And there is other advantage also. If the rotary converter is overexcited, it will take a leading current. Okay, so this compensates the lagging current drawn by the main motor. So what happens if it compensates? The power factor will get improved. Power factor improvement means efficiency will be improved. And injecting an EMF in the rotor circuit, we have other method. This is Cramer system, and this is called as Scherbius machine. Scherbius machine. This is called as Scherbius system. So this is also used for controlling the speed of the induction motors. Okay, so here the slip energy is not converted into DC, but the slip energy is fed to DC motor. Rather, it is fed to directly a special three-phase commutator called a Scherbius machine. Okay, so instead of directly supplying to three-phase AC commutator, it is fed to the DC motor, the slip rings energy. So the polyphase winding of machine C, the polyphase winding, this here it is, the motor C is having polyphase winding. The polyphase winding of machine C is supplied with the low frequency output of machine M through a regulating transformer. This is a regulating transformer RT. So the commutator motor, this is called as commutator motor C. It is having a variable speed motor, and its speed is controlled either by varying the tappings on RT or by adjusting the position of the brushes on C. These are the brushes. So how the speed control is achieved here? By varying the points on the regulating transformer, or by tapping, by adjusting the positions of the brushes on C. Okay, so these are the 6 methods of speed controls. Now we will go for problems. A 250 Hz three-phase induction motors having 6 and 4 poles respectively are cumulatively cascade. The 6-pole motor being connected to the main supply determine the frequencies of the rotor currents, and the slip rings refer to each stator field if the set has a slip of 2%. Slip is given as 2%. So the synchronous speed is, how will we find the synchronous speed? NSC. NSC is 120 F by P. 120 into F is 15. First P is, see here, 6 poles and 4 poles. So totally they are having 10 poles. So by the set is total having 10 poles. 6 and 4. 6 poles for motor A and 4 poles for motor B. Total 10. So synchronous speed is NSC is equal to 120 F by P. PA plus PB. Nothing but 600 RPM. Next. We will see them in next class. This problem from problems onwards, we will see them in next class.